Namaskar. This video is to help you understand how you can become a CA in the year 2025. This is a three-stage career path once you become a CA. So to enter, we have two options in 2024. One, can you clear in one attempt, or would you need 1 year, which is the whole of 2025? We'll discuss this in detail. Second, once you clear CA, how can you get to the path of making 1 lakh per month? So even if you start at, let's say, 8 to 10 lakhs, eventually you can get to 12 lakhs easily. Next, how do we create a path of earning a net worth of $1 million, which is close to 10 CR at some point of time? Now, why do I say this? Because at some point of time, we had the television show called KBC, Kaun Banega Crorepati. With 1 crore, you won't be able to buy a 2 BHK in any of the major cities. So this is a kind of network which you would definitely need across the next 2 decades. Okay, this is the overall career plan. Career is a 30-year game for which you're investing 6 to 12 months of your life so that this happens. Moving on, who should think of clearing CA in the immediate attempt? Now, I would say if you have already scored 200 plus in November 24, you can safely think of getting to clearing both the groups in May 25. Again, this is one of the conditions. There are more criteria which I'll explain in detail. But right now, if you already scored 200 plus, I'll tell you a plan of action which you can pay attention to. So let's say you already crossed 200 plus in the previous attempt. In the first week, we already started our admissions and induction process happening. In the second week of January, we'll start with AFM. Why AFM? AFM is the one paper in Group 1 where you will have a definite chance of scoring an exemption. So here, even if we complete 60 to 70 marks of syllabus, where we focus on important chapters like portfolio management, mutual funds, and easy chapters like mergers and acquisition, corporate strategy, and theory aspects like chapter 1, chapter 2, and startup finance. So there are a cluster of chapters which will give you a denominator weightage of 60 to 70 marks. Even if you do not complete the far more complex chapters of international financial management or derivatives immediately, still you will be able to cover decently and get to a score of 45 plus in AFM by the end of the second week of January. Similarly, we'll go to auditing. In auditing, if you are not very sure about the standards of auditing, the first 11 chapters, so you can start with chapter 12, digital auditing, till chapter 18. Even if you complete this set of chapters plus chapter 19, professional ethics, you will be able to comfortably touch a denominator of 50 marks. The whole of standards will come around 50 marks. The non-standards will also be around 50 marks since the paper is for 114 marks. Next, in the last week, you will be completing the major aspects of financial reporting, where I would say business combination, consolidation financial statements, financial instruments, Ind AS 116, Ind AS 115, SBP, and all of this, where the denominator is once again 50 to 60 marks. So here, by the end of January, you will be in a very good position to at least touch 35 to 40 for sure in all these papers. And since FR and AFM, FR and audit would require more coverage, we'll invest one more week to ensure you will cross the 40 mark by the first week of February. Now, if you try to understand what we are doing, we're eliminating your risk of passing in all of these papers. So in first week itself, AFM risk is eliminated. Then a couple of weeks are investing in. By third week, you would not be in a position to fail no matter what. This is how we are going to do it. Next, we'll be concentrating on IDT and DT similarly. By the end of February, you'll be able to complete all the papers at least once. And whatever has to happen in the first and second week of May, we are bringing it to the first and second week of March. This is the game changer. Now, at this cycle, you should be able to cross 240 plus. When I say this, you will be doing a 1.5 revision and crossing 40s in all papers. Just cross 40. Aggregate will do it in the next cycle since we'll have 2 more months from that point. Once it is done, based on this, our mentors will evaluate what is your weakest subject and invest 1 week exclusively for your weakest subject. We'll have a personalized gap fixing week here. Once it is done, since there are 2 papers in the entire ecosystem where AFM and IBS, where you can score 60 to 65 comfortably, you can cross 130 plus. If you already have an exemption in one of this, we'll add 1 more paper here, probably FR, where you can score more, or IDD from group 2. Okay, so by end of March, you should be in a position to score 300 already, which we'll test in the upcoming mock in April. Now, over and above this mock test, there will be a lot of surprise tests, daily exams. You will write a lot of exams. And finally, in the week of April 2nd week, you will be going in the reverse order, starting from DT, IDT, IBS, audit, AFM, and FR. And for FR, we'll do a 1.5 days revision strategy so that you'll have an additional advantage also. So this is exactly how the process works, and there are certain key conditions or non-negotiable terms if you want to exercise this entire program. Number one, zero access to phone will significantly reduce your access to phone except talking to your parents. Number two, once you come here for residential mentorship, we don't prefer you going back home. Number three, we want you to absolutely surrender to the process. Number four, we have 5 important techniques. There are many techniques, but there are 5 important techniques which we want you to follow mandatorily without a hinge of doubt or hesitation. And then you should ruthlessly prioritize your clearing the exam over other material comforts. And finally, you should be strictly in a silent zone while we study in a span of 3 hours. This is very important. These are non-negotiable conditions. If you agree to these conditions, we have the following benefits. One-to-one mindset transformation like nowhere else in India, with a combination of psychologists, psychiatrists, yoga trainers. So whatever challenges you have, whether it's stress, anxiety, or depression, we will be able to handle them. Next, the study routine will be extremely intensive, like as if you study during the exam. That is what we are willing to stretch for the entire period of 4 months here. This is game changing for you. And your learning process, which is normally slow and low output, we are fixing it and accelerating it. And this time we have a personalized mentor intervention channel where he'll dig deep into each and every specific aspects of your preparation problems and fix it. And finally, you have a 5-time revision process, which is extremely popular, where we are going to implement it with far more seriousness and will ensure whatever you study will be revised 5 times. And over and above your preparation and revision, there are certain techniques, some of them which you might have followed, will automatically take your scores with 7 to 8 marks increment just because of following our strategies of score booster in the last 2 weeks. Okay, I hope you can clearly see a picture of clearing in May 25, provided you have a base of at least 200 marks. There are exceptions. Let's say somebody who have already scored 130, 140, or 120 in one group, yet to start coaching for the other group. We'll see on case-to-case basis. But if you already scored 200, mostly you will be eligible for this. Okay, this is the May plan. Now, coming to whether we need one attempt or 1 year, largely depends on this. Because for us to definitely tell you whether we need one attempt or 1 year, there are 2 factors. One is ICA result, of course. I'll give you a simple example. In May 24, the overall number of people who have cleared group 1 is 20,000, and this time it's 11,000. In May 24, once again, group 2 it was 21,000, this time it's 10,000. It's almost flat 50% reduction in the number of people who cleared. So no matter what we do and no matter what you do, this is one such thing which will significantly impact the outcome. Now, this is not in our control. So this is not the only factor which determines your scenario, but this is one of the important factors. I would say 50% attribution can be given to this. But what can beat this? What can you do to make sure you fall in this category, even if it is reduced by 50% from the previous attempt? So this is what we'll be focusing on the next video, irrespective of the variances in the past percentage, where you can see sometimes it's 6,000, sometimes it's 11,000, sometimes 20,000. So these are all variations, right? So what is our game plan? So that is the reason why we clearly say we want 1 attempt or 1 year, because there are multiple variances and all the details of who would need 1 attempt and who would need 1 year and what exactly is the other dimension of the preparation process, which will make the difference between these 2 aspects. We have done a detailed research. So all of this will be discussed in detail in our upcoming video, where we'll clearly tell you, irrespective of the limited ICA pass percent, how do we back ourselves and why did we even start this program, and all the details in the upcoming video of how can we at HLS even think of 100% result assurance in 1 attempt or 1 year. In this video, we'll start with the intent. What exactly is our intent in starting this program and how much is our capability to do this? Okay, so I hope now you're in a reasonable position to see that you can become a chartered accountant in 1 attempt and 1 year. This is exactly what I want to achieve through this video. Thank you very much and all the best to have a fantastic year ahead. Namaskaram.